Hey, how's it going, Pop-Up Camper family? Welcome back to It's Poppin'. So, as many of you may have seen in our last video, we got a new to us pop-up camper, and I asked for a lot of you to guess what you may or may not think we may have bought. So, here, let me throw the camera over to the missus while I take off our cover here. So, a lot of you guessed that, hey, maybe it's a StarCraft Centennial, like, I don't know, the 3612 or the 3608 model. Solid guess, as we used to have our old StarCraft, but nevertheless, not a StarCraft. A lot of you thought maybe, hey, it's a Rockwood high wall, Flagstaff for that matter, right? But nope, not a Rockwood or a Flagstaff. Actually, there were a few A-liner guesses in there, but this might be, maybe some of the bigger A-liners. It could be, but not an A-liner. Who knows? Maybe someday, but nevertheless, not an A-liner. So, really, all that leaves, and a lot of you like hit it right on the head. It is a So a lot of you guys were absolutely right. It is indeed a Fleetwood Niagara. It is actually a 2007. So you guys killed it. I don't know how you guys figured out that it was a Fleetwood Niagara just based on like glimpses of the tires and the lift system, but nevertheless you killed it. So why did we decide to buy this pop-up camper? And I think there's quite a few reasons, and we'll of course go over it. And you know, I think Fleetwood just does a few things better than Jayco. But not only that, and I have to bring you guys inside to explain this one, but the missus really wanted a, I don't know, what do you call this, a couch? A gaucho?
Yeah, it's like a little L-shaped couch. This was one of the things that I wanted so badly when we got the Jayco, but we just couldn't find at the time.
Right.
And it just gives us that extra space inside. It'll be a perfect place for the dogs to hang out. It'll be a great place to just sit inside if it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it has my second most wanted feature, which is the hard-sided shower.
That's right. So we finally got an hard-sided shower, which has a mirror. Very nice. But the cool thing about this, not only because it's hard-sided, you get that more privacy. Obviously, I wouldn't leave that window open right there, you know, unless you're into that kind of thing. But it's got the full black water holding tank. It's got a gray water holding tank, and I don't know. We'll see how this system compares to that of a cassette toilet, but it's the first time we've owned something like this. So those are the two big things for the missus. The couch for not only us, but the dogs. We think we're going to do the dogs up front this time, right?
Yeah, so we're going to flip-flop a little bit our normal setup. Normally, we are in the front of the camper, dogs are in the back, but this time we're going to put the dogs up front because they can use the couch to be able to jump up into the bunk end, which was a little bit of a struggle for our husky dog in the last pop-up. So we'll see if that helps him out a little bit.
So the Fleetwood here is actually really similar to our Jayco in terms of a lot of the amenities. I mean, namely, like, we have the microwave, we have the radio, some indoor speakers, one there and one over here. But one of the big differences, especially in the front, where we gain this extra 2 feet with the couch, is we lose our front storage box. Granted, there is still some exterior access for some storage, but not nearly as big. That is one of the downsides, but like I said, we gain this extra space right here, which is super nice. Of course, we also have the slide out. I mean, very similar, but we lose an exterior access into the slide out. Although, to be honest, I don't think we didn't really use that much, so not a big deal at all. So once again, we still have the slide out, still have an air conditioner, which is great. We have the double sink and the large 3-way refrigerator, and of course the oven with the 3-burner stove top. There's a few subtle differences. Air conditioner, I think is a different brand. Not a big deal. I definitely know the fridge is different. So we're going from, oh shoot, I think it was maybe like a Frigidaire or something. I don't know. Okay. No idea what we're going to, but we definitely didn't have this Dometic because this is a little bit different. And it's actually, in my opinion, a little bit easier to use. However, our temperature control knob is broken. So bummer. Maybe I'll find a new one, maybe not. It's set to the max cold, and that's usually what we set it at, so not a big deal at all. Like I said, we do once again have an oven, which, have we used that in the other one?
No, we haven't.
No, we've never used the oven. So in my opinion, kind of just probably more weight than it's worth, but like I said, we have the three burner stove. One thing that we did lose was the automatic ignition, so you just have to use a wand lighter, but not that big of a deal in my opinion. And then, like we were saying before, we have another bed, but big difference is this is two kings, or two RV kings if you will, as opposed to a king in the front and a queen in the rear. This time we have two kings, so that's why we are willing to make the sacrifice of moving to the back of the bus. So not a big deal at all. We already went over the shower and toilet and everything, but alluding on that a little bit more, we get a bigger black water tank that's on board, which kind of mimics the cassette, but it's a little bit bigger, I think 9 gallons versus 5 gallons. And then there is also an onboard gray water holding tank, so that way we don't have to cart around like one of those aquatainers, or we're also trying out using a oil drip pan as a gray water catchment system. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. It all flushes out the same spots, and that way if we're at like a state park, which we commonly go to, we can just roll up to the dump station and boom, we're done right there. I don't know. Is there anything else? Anything else on the inside?
I don't think so. I think those are the main things that are, I guess, similar, different. We have a microwave again. It's just, the layout is a little bit different. We've kind of swapped where the toilet and shower is compared to kind of this seating area. But, I mean, overall, really, really similar in terms of, like, amenities to what we had with the Jayco. Just a little bit closer to, like, the perfect camper, which we're ever searching for.
Yeah, so that kind of brings me to my point of, okay, this is such a similar camper, why did we upgrade? And honestly, I think it's ever since, not only did we see Adventures in Pop-Ups 2008 Fleetwood Arcadia, but also I have a buddy who has a 2004 Fleetwood high wall. Ooh, off the top of my head, I'm not sure the exact model, but I just really appreciated the build quality, if you will, that we saw in these Fleetwoods. It just felt like it was just a step above, and actually if we step outside, I'll show you kind of what I mean. So one of the big things that I really appreciate in pop-up campers is if they do this area of the box right. As you can see, it's like all aluminum, all riveted. It's just, in my opinion, better build than the Jayco, where, for example, on the back side here, you might see plastic caps, things of that nature. Now that we're also outside, I can explain to you a few of the, I don't know, new amenities that we got with the Fleetwood. And one of those is actually at the back. If you guys can see right there, we have a power lift system. So if I come all the way over here, we can just plug in to the back here and then use this little remote to move the pop-up camper's roof up and down. So this is a first for us. I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's definitely a lot easier in terms of the energy expenditure, but whether it's quicker or not, I don't know. And I don't think it's too battery intensive, but that's another thing to consider. So that's a really cool feature for now. We'll see. But like I was explaining before, super similar. It's a 14-foot box. We just lose that front storage, but we have a little storage area that just goes under that front couch. Oh, and there's one more kind of feature and amenity that I totally forgot to mention, but we now have a water heater that can not only run on propane, but it can also be heated via electric, which is nice if we're hooked up to to electric. That way we don't have to burn any propane if we're getting free electricity already. So yeah, that'll be something cool to kind of mess around with, see how well the electric works in terms of heating up the water heater. But yeah, I don't know, it'll be kind of nice, and it'll be maybe another video for you guys where we can show you how to use it. So that's all of the reasons we decided to go with the Fleetwood, namely to make the wife happy, right? Got the couch in the bathroom, but nevertheless. So I also said we were able to save $1,000 on this pop-up, and I think this is where it's important to really go into buying a pop-up with as much knowledge as you can. And I know that's hard for some people who are completely new to pop-ups, but hopefully that's where we come in, right? Watch a lot of our videos, watch a lot of other people's videos. Essentially what I'm saying is do your research, and it might help you save some money in the future too. So the backstory behind this pop-up is that it showed up on the marketplace, I don't know, maybe like a month or two ago, and it was listed for like $10,000. And I know actually the NADA for these, at least in our area, is right around there. So not horrendously crazy, but definitely not the amount we were willing to pay for it. And so I just saved it, and about every week went by, the price came down about $1,000, and then another $1,000, and then another $1,000. So by that time it was only $7,000, and it had definitely piqued my interest in terms of, okay, if this actually looks like a nice pop-up, if it's in good condition, we're definitely willing to buy it at that price point. So we went cash in hand to look at it. But there were a few things that we were able to point out that helped us get the price down. Namely, the furnace didn't work. And I actually looked at the furnace, and coincidentally, or perhaps not, it is the exact model that we had just fixed in our Jayco. So I felt pretty confident in being able to fix it, even if we weren't able to fix it right there. So took a few, did a few basic troubleshooting things on it, but nevertheless, we couldn't get it to work at all. One of the other issues with this pop-up is that the water system had not been used for 7 years. And for some reason, and we don't know why yet, but when the guy went to pop it up and show it to us, there was water sitting in the sink. Still not sure how that happened. Maybe the water pump got bumped or something weird like that. But we walked around and checked out the water system, even though there was no water in it, and opened up the low point drains under the water heater, and this pretty gross black sludge water came out of the low point drains under the water heater. And I think that also kind of grossed out the cellar too. And then finally, there was just a little bit of rust in the rooftop screws that, who knows, maybe a little bit of water was getting in. It could have been just from condensation, moisture while stored. But I did say the roof felt like it was in good structural condition, no soft spots or anything like that. So essentially, I just pointed out those three things. Now, granted, there's a few little cosmetic things here and there, but of course we're going to renovate this and fix it up. But I just said, hey, knowing these three things, the issue with the furnace, the kind of questionable water system, we didn't know if there were any leaks in it or anything like that, and then of course the rusty screws in the roof, I asked them what they were willing to come down to that day. And the guy came back and said $6,000. So I said deal. And here we are with our new to us Fleetwood Niagara for about $6,000, which I felt was very reasonable, especially in our area. So that's how we ended up saving $1,000, but not quite, because the ER bill took a little chunk out of that, but it wasn't too bad. So we did a little bit of poking around in our pop-up, and I'm going to talk at you while I get our gas turned on. But we figured out exactly what was wrong with the furnace, and fortunately it was not too expensive of a fix. Now, while we're also, kind of poking around and making sure all the systems worked, we hooked up our water, and we discovered that the kitchen faucet, for whatever reason, absolutely does not want to shut off. So we got a few things to fix up our pop-up here and get it back into mostly working order. Of course, we have a lot of a lot of little things to do here and there, but just goes to show, if you know a little bit of knowledge about pop-ups, especially how much it might take to troubleshoot and fix, well, usually you'll come out ahead. So as far as the furnace, we popped off the cover here and even took off the back side of the control panel here, the control board, and noticed that the control board, there's a little LED on it. It wasn't flashing at all. So we figured there's probably no power going to it. And of course the reset button, or essentially the on-off switch, was also on, so that was good. So yeah, we kind of backtracked it all the way over. So we figured that perhaps it is the thermostat that, for whatever reason, isn't clicking on and providing power to our furnace there. And as we took the old thermostat off here, we're able to determine that, in fact, if we just connected our two wires together, as you can hear, the furnace is trying to kick on now. So that led us to believe that probably the thermostat here is bad. So what we ended up doing is picking up, and we kind of splurged, but we picked up a digital, this is a Honeywell heat-only thermostat. So $30 maybe, but if you pick up one of these, 15 to 25, so a slight splurge for a nicer thermostat, which should fit perfectly in that little cubby there. So let's just get these wires connected in, and we'll see if our thermostat's good to go. Let's see if the heat works. Oh, nice. Toasty 90 degrees in here. So regarding the faucets, we quickly discovered once we hooked up into the city water that these faucet handles just keep spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and never close, and water just keeps coming out the faucet. So without once again risking water going everywhere like we had the other night, we decided we'd just pick up a new kitchen faucet. So this looks really nice, a lot nicer than the old one, but our only concern is, as you can kind of see, the faucet handles stick out a touch higher and a touch further out. So fingers crossed that once we replace this faucet, that our bunks do not hit the handles. Granted, I believe you can take these faucet handles off with a flathead screwdriver, but more importantly, the entire faucet head comes off, and once again, just like the old one, you can fit it in the sink. But let's get this put on. We'll hook up our water again, and fingers crossed we don't have a wet mess. Alright guys, so we purged out all the air. Well, more importantly, as you can see, no water coming out when the handle is closed. So I think for all intents and purposes, the kitchen sink faucet is fixed. Like I said before, hopefully our beds don't hit this, and if they do, we'll, I guess, have to get a new one, but for now, all good. So I'd be remiss if I didn't change out our old incandescent light bulbs for some nice new LEDs. So These, unlike our Jayco and Starcraft, are 1141 bulbs. They're not like the flat kind, so I think those are 941s. But nevertheless, I know I always say the first thing we do is change out the light bulbs. That way it gets a lot brighter in here, and if we're just running off battery, they're a lot more energy efficient. These little guys are only 3 watts each, so quite a bit more energy efficient than these old incandescents. I don't think they say what they are, but nevertheless, we have to change these out for LEDs, and I encourage you to as well. That way, if for any reason, don't break bulbs, if your rooftop kill switch for your lights ever fails or gets stuck open, you won't melt your lighting, and even worse, burn holes through your canvas or vinyl. All right, guys, so there you have it. We got some new lights. That way, when we're filming in here and obviously just camping, it is not horrendously dark. We have a new faucet, and the furnace is working. So super happy with, I guess just in general, just the new camper, getting everything that we needed to working. There's a few little things here and there, a couple tiny little spots in the canvas that need to be cleaned up, patched up, but overall the canvas is in super great shape, which can't be said for the Jayco, unfortunately. Yeah, I just really like the build quality of these Fleetwoods. Unfortunately, they're no longer made anymore, which is a bit of a shame, which makes parts a little bit harder to come by or a little bit more expensive if you can find them. But they are still available, thankfully. And yeah, obviously the wife is happy that we have the couch, and not only is the wife happy about that, but the dogs will be thrilled. I think that's a perfect spot for them. And then they have a bigger king bed up front, and then at the back we of course have our nice hard-sided shower, which, by the way, I found the shower curtain for all folded up in its original packaging. All of the clips or slides that hold the shower curtain up were still in the package, so I'm pretty sure this shower has never been used, which is awesome. And then of course we have our nice king size bed in the back as well. So super happy with our new camper. Lots of exciting things to come with this. Of course, we have to do some sort of renovation, right? We'll get it all fixed up, all those little things, make sure we go over all the things that it needs for maintenance. And of course, I'm really excited to do a lot of comparison videos with the Jayco, how it's got the different list system, how different things are made. We've got a couple fridges to compare. I don't know, just you name it. If there's anything you want to see the difference between our Jayco and of course our Fleetwood here, or maybe even if I can source maybe something with the Goshen lift system out there, which are a little bit easier to find, let me know. But we're really excited to show you our new Fleetwood, as I know there's a lot of you Fleetwood Coleman, one and the same owners out there, and now hopefully we can speak a little bit more intelligently about these. So as always, guys, hopefully we see it in the next video. If not, hopefully we see you out there camping.